Oh,
We are recording.
oh my goodness. That was smooth. Smooth like Jif. Okay, so I think that our conversations have been awesome this whole time, and I think we're completely supportive of one another. And I mean, we've had similar struggles in our placements and with our sort of our supervisors, and I think that's been a super like awesome way to connect with one another is listening to each other and our and the crap that we have to put up with and kind of process through.
I felt really bad for you when you had your challenges because
Mm-hmm.
I had been like, I started my internship with this very difficult, like unknown dynamic. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you were going through it, I was just like, oh my gosh, I know exactly
Right.
what you're feeling. And I just, in a way, it made me feel connected. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so it's not just about me. Other people are having struggles. And so it helped me broaden my perception. So having these dyads um, increase my lens.
Oh, sure. And then like any advice that I'd give you would like, have you tried this or have you tried that? It was like, well, then follow that advice too, Eric. So it was kind of like trying to help you, better your communication and your dealings with the crap that was going on, helped me as well. So, I mean, your supervisor felt more aggressive than passive aggressive, and mine was like way more passive aggressive. So it was interesting to kind of try to learn from one another on and the advice. It was cool. It is cool.
I think the piece that helped me the most is putting your intention.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I don't have set hours, and because I'm not working,
Oh,
I like literally I would have like a meeting and then it would cancel. I didn't like I wasn't clear in the beginning. I didn't set up like this is clearly I need to like work these certain days, have this day off. I wasn't clear. It took me a whole term to figure that out. And I think through processing, like, you know what,
mm-hmm.
putting your intention out there
Mm-hmm.
helps inform like it's yes, I'm grateful for the experience, but also I need to set a structure. I need to like let people know what the structure is, and then from there there's freedom within that.
Right. It's like we wanted the expectations to be clear for us, but we also in turn have to make our expectations clear to others as well. So it's like you're right, intention and purpose and sitting back and kind of critically reflecting on, so how can we take this information and present it in a way to sort of move things forward. So you're absolutely right. And have things gotten better for me in my placement? Yeah, a little bit. But like I was telling you, it's kind of like it almost seems like she's pulled completely back now and and it's like, here's a list of things that you can accomplish to help me, and they're small little things, and thank you. And so, rather than rock the boat, I'm just kind of going, ma'am, yes, ma'am, and I'm going to take care of those lists and do the best that I can for that, to kind of help her, knowing that she's in that weird kind of place right now where she's getting all that pressure. So, and you've helped me sort of realize that. So I'm a little nervous for next term, but we'll see.
Yeah, that was the piece that at least I was helping to process around because our projects this term really drove what
Mm-hmm.
internship, and next term we don't really have a project geared towards the internship. So
Mm-hmm.
really looking at our educational goals, and so if it's going to be a challenge to like find things to do, like just find something that's really interesting to you to like engage your learning, or just find a project that is there somebody else in the department, or is
Right.
there another way to get your needs met, and realize that's the dynamic you're going to be working with. Um,
So I think, yeah, I think I'm gonna challenge myself a little bit next term to maybe what you just said is sort of expand, realize that I don't just have to stay in that one placement, and maybe challenge myself to have a conversation on, hey, I know you're super busy and I'm interested in this area that's not necessarily your expertise. And so do you mind if I sort of branch out and kind of get that piece to see how it can relate to my current placement? And I think that that can be an easy conversation to have during supervision. So I think that might be one of the things that I'll do for next term. So I thank you for bringing that up for me.
Well, also our perceptions might change because we're in such
True.
a situation. So like we're already going to be thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
okay, are we just like biding our time? Is like, or is there something here that might help us, a connection or like a community or an aspect of this internship that might help us? I mean, because your placement is where you're going to work. I mean, not in that department, but
No, yeah.
like you might have a lot more choices.
No, let's hope so.
So what are you thinking about post grad? Like,
Well,
like continue like a friendship dyad after graduation, like.
I think it would be awesome to continue to check in and maintain a connection, and see where things are going post graduation. I also think it would be super cool to sort of create an ad hoc dyad or triad with like some coworkers that are going, that I don't know. I think I got this new job where I'm sort of a coach and a mentor and a trainer. It's called they're calling it a STAR right now. STAR, Staff Training and Retention Specialist. They're changing they're changing the name of it though. But and I think what a great way to sort of create a relationship with newer workers and have that opportunity to have conversations and critically reflect on our interactions with others, and to have that challenge and that, sort of immediate feedback to sort of challenge behavior and perception, and you know what I mean? And so I definitely am going to take this piece of this education process and use that in my work post grad. Well, I'm doing it now, but post grad, with workers that I'm going to be tasked with helping. So I definitely like this piece of the program. But I also would want to maintain a connection with you too, just to see how things are going. Oh, cheers. I'll give you a moment to wipe your eyes.
We started out with 3 and now we have 2. So
I know, right?
I was thinking, this would be hard because it's just one person, so we have to fill all the space. But then it's been more easy.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely been easy to talk about things. But I think, again, it's because we've got a connection with our struggles and our placements and how we're working through that. So, I guess you could call it a little bit of a trauma bond over the last few months. But I think post-grad, I would love to check in with you and see how the yoga is going and that fun stuff. So definitely.
So it looks like I'm probably going to be looking for work. Because a yoga studio is not going to like just happen spontaneously. It's going to take a while. So I'm thinking that I might look for a job at the county or something, and then see if I can transfer, and then eventually work my way into like opening a studio or something. But like I have to do something for a transition.
Right.
So
you're thinking
I'll be working
you're thinking county is going to be that transition, or
or maybe one of the system partners. I'm just feelers out, and yeah, because I've had the privilege of not working this last year, and it's really freed up a lot of space for me because I was doing like clinical work, and it was just too much with my internship. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and I think, well, now that you've got some experience with the county, you know what you would want to do and not do, definitely, and how you would do things differently. So you could take that experience, both the positive and the good, the bad, and the ugly, all 3, and like look for that certain position that would hit you perfect. So You could start looking at that next term.
Yeah, Lisa suggests that we start looking for work in April because it
Oh,
takes
God.
process, like literally, like it takes months, like it,
Mm-hmm.
the interview and and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So
Yeah, that's where I'm like extremely privileged, and I recognize that this partnership that I'm in with DHS, Child Welfare, and I mean, boo hoo, I've got a full time job post graduation and I have to have it for the 3 years. So, I mean, and I'm not going anywhere anyway. So, I mean, it is definitely, I see the greatness of the partnership because it benefits DHS because I'll use my expertise there, but it also benefits me, obviously. So, um, I recognize that privilege, and I am so sorry with everybody that has this, that's going to have the struggle of trying to find that job. So, yeah, I'm backing you 100%.
I'm okay with it. I'm thankful that I was relieved of my work obligation last year. So now it's time to, put some muscle in behind what
Mm-hmm.
kind of theories that I have now under my belt. So
Would you want to look at Multnomah County, or would you go other metro counties? Would you look at like Washington or Clackamas or?
I'd be open. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really interested in like the whole systems, the governance structure, but I don't think there's
Mm-hmm.
like a position for that. Like getting like I'm really interested in the process of getting the youth and parent involved in that, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really at a tokenism phase right now. Um, who knows? Or maybe I'd just be a care coordinator and just work with youth and families. I like the wraparound process.
The wraparound process is really cool, and but it's uniquely challenging. I mean, you've got to get a lot of players to the table. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think you definitely have the skills to do that. So,
Thank you.
of course. Um, the one piece of this conversation, holding each other accountable. Um, I think that I think we have in a way. I mean, through our conversations and following up with one another and remembering sort of the challenges and what sort of our goal to accomplish or to jump over that hoop or that step, and to ask each other about that as we've gone on. I think that's a piece of accountability. I haven't been like, have you fulfilled your promise? But no, I think that we've had a piece of that. As I was looking at that question, I was kind of like, it just seems strange, but it's like when we would talk, or when we talk about, I really need to have this conversation with my supervisor about that email, that I was having that trouble with, and you were giving me advice about that. I think that's a form of accountability when we came back together and you're like, so how'd it go?
Yeah.
So, and I appreciated that piece to kind of empower me to sort of take that step and kind of pro-socially confront her on her tone, and so I appreciated that as well. Yeah, that's kind of where things are for me anyway.
So just being an ally and a support, and then following
Yeah.
through like the next meeting. What's interesting is like you're like something might be falling through, and then you're like, we don't meet for 2 weeks, so like I don't hear. And I'm like, I'm thinking about it, going, I wonder how that went, because
Right. You start getting vested.
I know.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and we both work for our internet systems, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like a little mini government, and there's a lot of complexity and politics involved, and just so many different layers to things that factor in.
Oh, definitely. I didn't think, it's kind of funny. I didn't think I was going to enjoy this piece.
Yeah.
And so like starting fall term when they started talking about it, I was kind of like, are you okay? It's going to be weird to talk to strangers on a computer, but it's actually been like, I think I already said it, but it's actually been the most enjoyable piece of this entire process. It truly has.
It's like really surprising because I have taken a class and doing some of the exercises like in person. It's kind of like ho hum. Okay, yeah. Did you? Yeah. Well, yeah. Just so show me what you know, and like you're kind of like walking and like here, like when you're on camera or when you're like responding to a discussion post, it's like you're on the line. You have to put yourself into it. It just feels like I don't know, it's strange being on camera. You feel more authentic.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you can't hide, like you can when you're having a discussion in a classroom with three other people. You can sort of hide from the conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like this online dyad, an online program, you don't get to hide in the discussions. You actually have to like participate and synthesize and put things out there. And so I actually think that you have to engage on a different level, on a deeper level in the material. So it's kind of cool that way. And then you get to talk about it. So that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like this whole program has been a pleasant surprise. Just the whole online, like I think everybody had the same impression going in.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well it's not really, it's not a real school. It's not a real. I'm like, wait, actually you're more invested online.
And I don't know how this goes for everybody, but or I'm eating a piece of ice, sorry. Or if like other schools are formatted in this manner. But
I knew someone who was doing the USC social work.
Oh, yeah. Is it similar to this?
I don't like she took it for one term and it was like super expensive. She couldn't afford it.
Oh man.
But yeah, she said it was good.
That's the one thing that I'm so curious about is why is the online program more expensive?
Maybe the technology that like the professor.
I don't know. I find that curious. That's all. Because it does. You do pay more.
Yeah, and you have to pay for all the campus facilities, even though you're not using them.
Right. Even if you live in like
Alaska or something.
Yeah, you live in Alaska, you're not anyway, I guess that's just tuition period, but
yeah.
How are we on time?
I don't have a timer on the thing.
Oh.
But is there anything that you want to share in the process? Well, I'll just share briefly. When I first started, it was you and Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
I was having extreme anxiety. I was in a midlife crisis. Like the whole internship, like I didn't start my internship till week 4.
Right.
So I was like literally thinking I wasn't gonna make it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think having this lifeline, like this dyad, the triad, like, okay, it gave me something to engage in, and like, okay, it helped with my anxiety. And then once I started, I had to really work with uncertainty and just kind of trust the process. Because you can't just go, oh, I just need to get from here to there, and this is what it takes. Like, it's the experience of what you have to go through to get to engage with people and communities. It's, I don't know, it's just, I mean, even like when you're presented with a challenge that you think is a catastrophe, actually is an opportunity.
Oh, I completely agree with you.
I just really, this whole process has been like so transformative, and what started out very it was just a very uncomfortable place for me, and now I am like I feel like I've got my feet wet, and I know what's what, and through that uncertainty I've been able to grow.
Oh, Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like the foundation seems to be a little more solid now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all definitely a lot more sure-footed, you know, which is super cool, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely gonna like after this term, I'm just gonna take stock. Like I think at winter break, I was just like, okay, I just want to get through. But now I'm like starting because you're going to be looking at your. Well, you're not looking at a resume, but I'm looking at my resume, so I'm going to take stock of everything I've learned
Mm-hmm.
and really putting it down. So I think that's what this next term is going to be like.
Oh, I'm going to definitely update mine too, and I'm kind of looking forward to that sort of if that's what's happening next term is some work on that resume because I actually do need to probably update it anyway just to have it. So yeah, it's gonna be cool.
That use your field evaluations.
Mm-hmm.
There might be some good information on that for your resume.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
You're talking about competencies that you're developing and like, well, there. I mean, Lisa's going to give us information on
Oh, okay.
that, and there's also going to be a resume workshop that
Oh, okay.
you can attend via Google Hangout.
Oh, that's cool. My resume's terrible. So that would be good to probably go to that.
So, what do you think?
I think we're good.
Think we're complete?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.